You know, Kyle, I was thinking the other day about some of the cultural differences between the United States and Spain.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and some of the things I was thinking is how here they tend to say salutations a lot. For example, they tend to say hello in the elevator. Do they say hello in the elevator in Canada?
No, they don't say it. People don't say hello in the elevator.
No.
People say hello in the elevator in Spain, but they don't say hello in the elevator
in Canada. Do
No.
they say hello in the waiting room? Like if you're at the doctor's office and you're waiting to enter and you're waiting for them to come out and say your name, Kyle Miller, then you go into the doctor's office.
Yeah.
But you're waiting in there.
Well,
someone comes in, says hello.
I'm from a small town.
Oh,
so
okay.
in my town, people would say hello. People say hello a lot.
Okay.
In places like the doctor's office. But in the city, people wouldn't say hello.
They wouldn't say hello.
They don't say hello.
Yeah, not in these situations. But then on the other hand, would you say that people in Canada are maybe a little more friendly than here?
In a lot of ways. People say
interesting.
thank you much more in Canada.
Okay.
Do people say thank you a lot in the United States?
Yeah, people say thank you a lot. And then also, you tend to talk to people.
Yeah.
People talk to the pharmacist, or they talk
Yes.
to the lady that's cutting the meat, or they talk to the cashier at the supermarket. In the States.
In the States, yeah. The same in Canada.
Yeah.
People talk a lot. People say a lot of things to people that they don't know very well.
Right, but we don't say hello and goodbye in these situations like the elevator or the waiting room. Or today at a bar, a woman said goodbye to me after I had my coffee. And I thought, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's common in bars in Spain to say goodbye when you leave the bar, but not so much in Canada. And not so much in the United States.
Yeah, yeah. Now, do you say I love you very often to your family members?
I sometimes say it. I don't always say it.
No.
But I sometimes say it. What about you? Do you say I love you
I
to your
do
family
to my
members?
parents, yeah, especially now because I don't talk to them on the phone as often as I did in the past.
Right.
So now when I talk to them on the phone, when I hang up, I usually say I love you before I hang up. But
It's nice to say
But before I didn't say that when I lived there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I do. I try to say I love you to my parents. Yeah.
Right. Now, what about here in Spain? Do people say your name correctly, or do they say it in a different way?
They say it a little bit differently. Yeah. They usually say Alison with an accent on the end. Alison.
But how should they say it?
They should say Americans say my name Allison.
Yeah.
Allison.
Yeah.
And they say Alison.
Yeah.
So they say it a little bit more with an accent.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And in your case, do they say your name correctly here?
No, they usually say Kile,
Kile.
but they should say Kyle.
And when you tell them how to say Kyle, do they say it correctly?
Sometimes they ask me to say it a few times. They say, "What? Pardon?
Yeah.
Can you say that again?" And I say, "Kyle."
Right.
I say, "Kyle." I say, "Kyle." And finally they say, oh, "Okay,
Okay.
good, I understand." And then they can say it
Then they
correctly.
can say it, but you have to teach them how to say it.
Yeah.
What words do your students have the most trouble saying in English when you're teaching them English? What words are difficult for Spanish people to say?
Well, of course, they have problems saying words with the V.
Of
The
course.
V, like victory.
Because how do they say it?
They say victory.
Right, they say it like a B sound.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
always say to my students, when you want to say the perfect V,
Yeah.
you have to say it's almost an F sound.
Right.
You say f, and then you activate the vocal cord.
Yeah.
And you can say a very good V.
Right,
That way you
yeah.
can say a very nice V.
But it's difficult for them to say these
It's a
words.
difficult
Yeah.
sound for a lot of people to say.
Are there any words for you that are difficult to say in Spanish?
Of course.
Yeah, like which words are the most
Yes.
difficult for you to say? Or which sounds?
Well, I had problems saying sometimes the jota.
Okay.
The jota.
Yeah.
Jamón.
Because you have to say it with your throat.
Jamón.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And the double R,
To roll.
perro.
Yeah, to roll your
say
R.
that word, it was
Right.
difficult. What
Yeah.
about you? Do you have problems saying certain Spanish words?
It's difficult for me as well sometimes to say the R, but it's also very difficult for me, I've noticed, to say words where the R and the D are together. For example, to say the name Rodrigo correctly, I really have to concentrate before I say it. Rodrigo.
Rodrigo.
Or Gerardo. It's
Gerardo.
very, yeah.
Gerardo.
Yeah.
Gerardo.
The R and the D, I have difficulty saying these two sounds together.
It's
so
difficult
interesting.
to say that.
Yeah.
What's your favorite word to say in Spanish?
Oh, this is difficult. I don't know what my favorite word to say is.
I have a few.
You have a few? Okay, which ones?
I like the word serpiente.
Ah, serpiente
Because
is nice.
to me it sounds very Spanish.
Yeah?
I also like the word almohadilla.
Almohadilla.
Almohadilla,
Interesting.
like a little pillow or
yeah,
cushion, right?
okay.
Almohadilla. It sounds very, very Spanish.
Right, yeah. Are there any sayings that you like to say in Spanish?
Sayings?
Yeah.
Well, let me think. I can't
Okay,
think
it's hard
of
to
any.
think of it off
Can
the
you
top
think
of
of
your
any
head.
sayings?
Well, I can't really think of any sayings exactly right now. But there's always sayings in English that I like to teach my students, you know?
I do like the saying, I can tell you, the saying, pan comido. We say, it's a piece of cake.
It's a piece of cake.
In English, we say, it's a piece of cake. In Spanish, they say, es pan comido.
Right,
Because
right.
there's nothing easier than eating a piece of bread.
And then eating a piece of bread.
And that's what
I like that.
That's what
Interesting.
they say here.
They say that.
That's what they say in Spanish, but
Right.
in English we say,
Yeah.
it's a piece of cake.
Do you use a lot of sayings in English in your general, when you speak to friends and family?
I think I do.
I use a lot of sayings as well. I use a lot of sayings as well. Let's see if you can guess a trivia question. Let's see if you can guess quickly.
Okay.
What do people say in English if you come into a room and you leave the door open behind you? What do people say?
In English?
Or at least in Colorado.
I don't know. What do they say?
In Colorado, they say, "Were you born in a barn?"
Ah.
Yeah, in Colorado, they say this. They don't say this in Canada.
No, we don't say that in Canada.
Okay, we'll have to make a list of some interesting sayings that we can practice in our classes.
All right.